Three men tired from their lives reflect on their actions when karma hits them on their face, destroying them to the core. Connor, Jack, and Mike are friends from a young age and have remained close to each other all their lives. Recently, they have been going through extremely difficult situations. However, two of them are in complete denial about their miserable situation. The film starts with a small gathering of their families together. As for Jack, he is expecting a child with his wife at a far later age in his life, but he has no regrets about expecting a child and says that everything in his life is going exactly how he thought it would. Then we are introduced to all three of the friends. These friends own a company named Trifecta Classics, which manufactured throwback jerseys. They started the company 20 years ago, and until then they have seen their own ups and downs. However, they later sold it as Jack was talked into selling it to afford a good private institution. The only thing he is irritated about is being pleasant and all friendly with his son's principal. His son needs a reference letter from the school to get into a reputed school, and to get one, Jack has to be on the good side of the principal, since she is the one who is supposed to write the letter. Among the friends, Mike is the only one who is living a peaceful life. He is divorced and his children are grown up, so he doesn't have to worry about them all the time. He is also dating a girl who is much younger than him, and she is taking it all casual. Connor, on the other hand, has no such problems in his life, except his wife, who is controlling and a micromanager in so many ways. He also doesn't follow anything Connor tries to teach him. Connor's wannabe young nature disgusts other workers. The kids are fooling around, fighting with each other. The children cause a scene. Connor's wife comes near her son, and instead of asking him to apologize for beating Jack's son with a stick, she tells him to let out everything he is feeling at the moment. After yelling for a bit, the kids go back to normal. The kid, however, is very unruly, and everyone seems concerned. They now have a much younger boss who takes them for granted and thinks of them as nothing but dusty bunch of nobodies who have no importance or talent whatsoever. The company is now a gender-neutral, carbon-neutral, lifestyle apparel brand. The first step he takes towards developing the company is firing the old employees born before 1988 and hiring people from young generations for their innovative ideas and creative aspects. He believes that it will only help the company to get more modernized and profitable. Jack is frustrated and he is yelling randomly at people in the streets. He also seems quite arrogant and toxic towards others and doesn't show any kind of consideration or decency in his behavior. He also fights with the principal from his son's school only because she reminded him that he should read the guidebook to be well aware of things that need to be taken care of. But in return, Jack yells at her in front of the crowd and uses foul language. Back at home, his wife tries to talk about his behavior, but instead he is irritated and defends himself in all the ways. He keeps talking aggressively and with no remorse for what he did. At this point, his wife suggests that he really needs to talk to a therapist. She also asks him to apologize the next day, and he agrees to do so. The scene shifts to the school where Jack is asked to speak up in front of the parents as they have this constructive activity to actively bond with each other. He apologizes in front of all the parents. However, it does not end there. The principal suggests that the parents are also going to voice their opinions. He also apologizes to everyone there. Leah, his wife, reminds him that he needs to be on the principal's good side since they will be getting their son's recommendation after 3 months, and it is important for them to be modest. On the other hand, Mike's girlfriend soon informs him that she is pregnant. He is in denial of the whole thing since he had a vasectomy. He admits he is unprepared for a new chapter of his life, simply talking about raising a child at this point of life. Nevertheless, he has to accept his fate and make his way through it. To deal with everything going on, the friends meet later in a bar where the other two are convincing Mike that the whole thing isn't too bad and that being a dad is beautiful, but Mike seems quite worried. The next day, Jack offers an olive plant to the principal, but she denies, saying it doesn't fit their ecosystem. However, she suggests that they have an annual fundraiser coming up, and given that he is quite specialized in sales, he would make an excellent chairman. The scene shifts to Jim where the men meet and Mike shares the news that he and his girlfriend have decided to keep the baby. He hands down a task to these friends. He wants them to find a person who has been staying off contact since 1988. All of this is a part of a plan that is made to sound nice because of all the marketing around it. They need a man who doesn't crave fame but is famous. The friends are accompanied by Travis for the trip. They have a lot of conversations inside the rental car that are rather problematic, suggesting their attitude is highly toxic to be accepted. They constantly objectify women and have no regards for such controversial remarks. Further, these friends also make Travis think that he is as problematic as them as he tries to question their opinions about the subjects that have been discussing about. Connor, Jack, and Mike are of the opinion that males are subjected to be the easy targets even if all the remarks these friends stated were highly controversial in every aspect. One can never call them out for their thoughts on such topics since that will never change anyway. They have always been like this considering the times and environment they were raised in. During the whole conversation, they stumble over an animal. As they look back, a man is approaching the same animal. Jack recognizes that he is the one they have been looking for, Ed Cameron. They try to convince him to join the company, and he agrees. Meanwhile, Leah gets in an argument with Connor's wife when her son knowingly hit Leah's pregnant belly. She said it could have been dangerous for her, but instead Connor's wife lashes out at Leah to defend her son. Back at the office, Aspen uses wokeness as the weapon to terminate them since their conversation does not comply with the morals under which they have signed the contract for the company. Aspen, their boss, terminates them without paying on this basis as he heard each and every conversation and remarks they made inside the rental car. Actually, he concealed a camera inside a car to have a track of what they might be doing. As they get terminated, Jack starts blaming Mike for having a big mouth and an overly aggressive tone. He also says that Mike shouldn't have been so disturbed with his life, because of which the situation got so worse. Connor doesn't say anything to Mike since he isn't talking to him anymore. The friends move on from the incident. The scene shifts to Mike, who is hosting an auction at his son's school. He gets way too enthusiastic and overbids the set amount to spend more time with his son's principal. When no one takes up the offer, he is struck with embarrassment, so he offers the amount himself and saves the principal's reputation. But he is not necessarily in a good mood at the moment. When the principal comes to him to have a conversation, he suddenly bursts out with anger and asks what she thinks of herself. The principal gets triggered by his comments as it hurts her ego, which will in fact affect his son's recommendation. This whole thing causes a fight between Jack and his wife as she is done with his anger and ignorant attitude. She asks him to leave the house as she is already considering about separating from him. Jack leaves and stays in a hotel. The next day, as soon as he wakes up, he gets into a fight with the hotel's owner. On the other hand, Mike's girlfriend asks him to get married with her so they can provide a good future to their child. This incident makes him worried as he is down to take another responsibility which he never expected. The scene shifts to Jack, who is considering about meeting a therapist for aggression control. Jack, Mike, and Connor are now headed towards Las Vegas to spend a jolly night to discard their problems. On the other hand, their wives and girlfriend reunite, and the fight between Leah and Connor's wife is also resolved then and there. These friends then end up at the strip club and wash down their worries by drinking and fooling around unnecessarily. They find Aspen in the club and notice that he is quite wasted as of now. The friends sit down talking with each other, wondering what part went wrong in their lives. However, Mike and Connor continue to be wasted. Just then Jack receives a call. He is informed that his wife is in labor. He rushes off to the hospital. They take a cab since all of them were intoxicated at that moment. Their cab driver was a very aged man who was much more troublesome for them. He is exposed to a whole new perspective. Jack manages to reach the hospital, but he is later as his daughter is already born. He is very delighted and emotional, and at that moment, he promises to be a better father and a better husband to his wife and family. On the other hand, Mike apologizes to his girlfriend and proposes her for marriage. Connor also tries to resolve things with his wife. However, it is unclear how well that went. Towards the conclusion, we see that Jack has been receiving therapy sessions to control his anger issues. He has controlled his aggressiveness and knows how to respond in different situations. The friends seem to more responsible and settled as they got their severance pay from the company. And the movie ends here. Like and subscribe for more amazing movie explanation videos. Also, press the bell icon to enable notifications for our latest videos. Till then, enjoy your time.